Okay, so I'll generally try and keep some of these under 10 minutes if I can. The biggest thing I should probably suggest is practice every day. Even if it's for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever you can manage, practicing wherever you are, whatever you're doing, practicing for 5 minutes every single day, you will find more valuable than practicing half an hour or an hour once a week, because you forget things. If you practice more often, it builds up your muscle memory, which is just your hands basically knowing where to go without you having to think about it. That's one of the biggest things I'd suggest. The other thing, if you're a starting player, is to sing, or at least talk along with what you're playing. That is to get yourself used to doing both things at the same time, if you can, even if you just mumble or hum or something like that. Just try and build that up from the start. I know it's difficult to do, but what you'll find is more difficult is actually trying to pick it up later, because you get so used to concentrating so hard on your guitar work and focusing on that, then later on trying to add singing to it, you sort of start fouling yourself up. So my suggestion is, if you do feel you'll ever need to sing, even in a backup capacity, is do early on, do try and sing, or talk, or just do something to get yourself used to not focusing sort of 100% on your guitar work, and just so you can multitask it easier later on. Okay, so 1 fretboard. Usually where most players start, you have to tune your guitar, or the shop's done it for you. If you've got a tuner, your first fattest string here is tuned to an E. The next skinnier string is tuned to an A. The next one along is a D. The next one is a G. The next one is a B. And the final one is the same as your first one, which is an E, but 2 octaves higher. Okay, so the easiest chord, because the guitar is generally tuned towards E, your easiest chord to do is an E chord. It's usually the one most people learn first. The shape that you make with that one is your first finger on your G string is on the first fret. Your middle finger is on the second fret on your A string, and in between those, your fourth finger or third finger, depending on which way you look at it, your ring finger goes on the second fret, also next to your middle finger, excuse me, and that makes an E chord. Sound all my notes? So that's your E chord. Generally the chord that sort of comes after that one, I'm quite a blues player, as you'll find out, and as a lot of guitarists are. I play other things as well, but blues seems to be something I tend to come back to. The next chord you tend to learn is your A chord, which you ignore your fattest E string. So don't play that one when you're playing. If you're I'll show you in a minute, when you're strumming, you can actually mute it so that it makes no noise with your right hand. So for your A, that's your index finger sits, your index finger sits on the second fret of the D string. Your middle finger sits on the next string along on the same fret, so on the second fret still, on your G string, and on the B string also at the second fret you put your ring finger, And as I say, you just play from the 5th string, from your A string. You can play the bottom one, it's actually not a wrong note. But generally, because you're playing an A chord, you want that A note to be the strongest note. So it's you generally play the thickest string you can, because that makes the most sound. Now if you're strumming, if you're good, you can just miss the E string entirely. So once you get used to targeting your strings when you're strumming more precisely, you can do that so that you don't hit it like I am there. Which, if I'm really thinking about it, I tend to just attack the strings at a slightly different angle if I want to hit the E string or not. I'm just coming in very slightly steeper, so I miss the big E string at the bottom. What you can also do is you can, with the fleshy bit of your palm, and you can do this if you're muting any strings, as you come down when you're strumming. If you're using a plectrum, you can do it as well, but it's a little bit trickier because you've got to allow for that distance. But you can actually rest the fleshy bit of your palm on that E string, or as you're coming down, just land the fleshy bit of your palm on it. You don't need to hit it. You're just resting on it so that it makes no noise. See, I can hit it quite deliberately, and you don't make any noise out of it. The next open chord that you tend to learn is your D chord, which again, how that's made is you ignore your first two strings, because that's E, and A. You ignore those, so the next one's D. So that's okay, that's the root note, and it's the thickest string we're going to use, so that's fine. Now to make the D chord shape, it's sort of a triangle shape. It's a really nice acoustic chord, but you can obviously use it for other things as well. So your index finger goes at the 2nd fret on your G string. Your ring finger goes on the 3rd fret on your B string. And your middle finger goes on the 2nd fret on the E string. And there's a few possibilities with this chord where you can move it around a bit and make a few nice chords. You can do it with other chords as well, obviously, but this is quite a nice sort of light sounding chord to try and do it with. So, but I'll come back to those a bit later. So there's your complete chord. Again, the A note is not wrong. If you hit it, it's fine, but your E note is. That E note is not supposed to be there. What some guitarists do with this chord is they take their thumb and they sit it on the F sharp note, which is at the 2nd fret, which is called a D chord with an F in the bottom, or an F bass note. And that makes that sound, gives it sort of a heavier sound to it rather than the lighter sounding chord there. Gives it quite a heavy sound. Also nice if you come down from G to that with the F on the bottom, and then down to the E. So that's your 3 chords in there, and I'm coming up to my time. So there's your E, there's your A, and there's your D. There we go.